Imagine holding a small coin in your hand. Just 5 cents. Nothing special, right? But what if I told you this tiny coin carries over 200 years of American history, represents one of the greatest presidents, and has quietly passed through millions of hands across generations? Today we are diving deep into the fascinating story of the 1961 Jefferson Nickel, a coin that may look ordinary, but holds an extraordinary past. Before we dive into this fascinating coin story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below. Do you own any Belgian coins? Let's explore history together. To understand the 1961 nickel, we must go back to the year 1938. Before this coin existed, Americans used the famous Buffalo nickel. It had a beautiful design. But there was one big problem. It wore out too quickly. Its details faded fast, and the dies broke often during production. So, the United States Mint decided it was time for a change. They wanted something easier to produce, more durable and more meaningful in American history. That's when they chose Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States and the author of the Declaration of Independence. The man behind this iconic design was Felix Schlag. In 1938, the U.S. Mint held a competition, and Schlag's design won. His work was chosen because it was simple yet elegant. It honored Jefferson properly, and it could be mass-produced easily. This same design continued for decades, including the 1961 Jefferson Nickel. Now let's look closely at the front side of the coin. What do you see? A left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson. But this is not just any portrait. It was inspired by a famous sculpture created during Jefferson's lifetime. The goal was to capture his personality, intelligent, calm, visionary. Around his portrait, you will notice, "In God We Trust" on the left, liberty, and the year 1961 on the right. This side represents more than a face. It represents freedom, democracy, and the birth of a nation. Now turn the coin over. You will see a beautiful building. This is Monticello, Jefferson's home. It was personally designed by Thomas Jefferson himself. It reflects his love for architecture and knowledge. On the reverse, you'll find the word Monticello, the value 5 cents, the country name United States of America, and the motto A Pluribus Unum. This side tells a different story. It shows Jefferson the architect, Jefferson the thinker, Jefferson the dreamer. The 1961 Jefferson Nickel is made of 75% copper, 25% nickel. Rarest.org. This composition has remained standard since after World War II. Why? Because during the war, 1942 to 1945, nickels were made with silver to save metal for military use. But by 1961, the coin returned to its original metal mix. The 1961 Jefferson Nickel was produced in 2 major mints: Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark, Denver Mint, marked with D. Together, they produced over 300 million coins, making it one of the most common nickels ever minted. The most expensive Denver alone produced more than 229 million coins. That's a huge number. Simple answer: everyday use. But there's a deeper story. In the early 1960s, the U.S. economy was growing. People needed coins for daily transactions. Vending machines and businesses required small change. So, the government produced coins in massive quantities. The 1961 nickel was part of this economic expansion. Now here's something interesting. Collectors look for a special feature called full steps. What does it mean? On the back of the coin, look at the steps of Monticello. If all the steps are clearly visible, that coin is rare and valuable, because most coins were not struck perfectly. Now comes the big question. How much is a 1961 Jefferson Nickel worth today? Let's break it down. Common value, circulated coins, around face value, $50. Average condition, about $150 to $250. Better condition, uncirculated, $500 to $1,000. High-grade coins, up to $2,500 or more. Rare versions, full steps coins, thousands of dollars. Auction records, over $10,000 plus for rare specimens. So yes, a simple nickel can be worth a fortune. Several factors affect its value: condition, grade, mint mark, P or D. Full steps detail luster and shine errors or rare varieties. Even a tiny detail can increase its price dramatically. Think about it. This coin has been used in shops, passed through thousands of hands, lived through decades of history from the Cold War era to modern times. It has silently witnessed everything. In the global coin market, the 1961 Jefferson Nickel is considered a common but collectible coin. Collectors around the world buy it because it represents American history. It features a famous president. It is affordable for beginners. However, rare versions are highly demanded internationally. For coin collectors, this coin is easy to find, fun to study, and exciting to upgrade. You might start with a simple coin and end up discovering a rare treasure. At first glance, the 1961 Jefferson Nickel looks like an ordinary coin. But now you know, it carries the legacy of Thomas Jefferson, the artistry of Felix Schlag, the story of America's growth, and maybe, just maybe, the one sitting in your pocket right now could be worth much more than 5 cents. So next time you see a nickel, don't ignore it. Look closely, because history is often hidden in the smallest things.